Hey everyone, welcome back to another continuing education check-in. Today we're talking about wingmanning and wingwomaning and what are the best practices for that. And then we have a very fun red flag, green flag. With that, we're gonna get started with our episode. And maybe like the best transition is you went out with one of our friends over the weekend.
I did.
And you told me that you would find him a wife.
Okay. Just to, I guess, cut to the chase for everybody watching, I did not find him a wife because I was just really not feeling well this day. So, like, before he came over, like, I was confident it was going to end, like, even a prior time when we went out with this friend, you know, because I have, like, a pretty good track record at setting up my friends, especially in the setting of, like, when you're going out. But I don't know what happened this past weekend. Like, my eyes were really dry. I was just not comfortable the entire time. And I ended up having to leave very, very, very early. Like, just when things were starting to happen. By the way, things were starting to happen. It's just I couldn't get them to conclusion because I had to leave early.
Okay, what does starting to happen mean?
So, I'll let you know. So, we went into this place. First of all, if I'm going out, I hate being early. I used to do it when I was like younger and I used to have curfew and now it's just like an ick.
Yeah.
And so we get there and we're like, there's like 8 people in total on like the dance floor. So already automatically I'm like, this is gross. Like we look like we're gross. Like I don't want to, not that I'm shy of dancing when nobody else is, I am not, but I just was like, this is like a very low vibrational thing to do. Like, let's not. But anyway, so we did because everybody wanted to. And I was like, okay, like, not a big deal. We're kind of showing everyone we're losers. But, you know, like, not a big deal because people pay attention to everything. From the moment you show up to a place, like, you should just know you're being observed. Even if it's in passing, like, people are noticing. You're in a public place, you know? Whatever. So we did that. And then after we were dancing a little bit more, it started to get a little bit busier, but not a lot. And then our friend pointed out a girl, and he was like, Sania, that's the one. And I was like, all right, like that's the one he wanted to talk to. Okay.
And I didn't tell me any of this. Hey, guy talk is so boring.
Girl talk has all the And after he said who the one is, obviously I didn't do anything right away because that's creepy. So you don't act on it right away. Not everybody's turning around and looking at her. Like it's very subtle.
Yeah.
And then we just kept dancing for a little while longer. And then I was like, okay, it was starting to get a little busier. Our friend was starting to feel it. He was like dancing. He was like really feeling himself. And I was like, this is like the time. So I left the dance floor and I was like, okay, like let me go get water. But obviously there's like a huge line of places. You can stand anywhere to get water. There's a huge bar. And I went to the corner where her and her friends were, you know, just to like, because, like, so I guess this is my usual MO. This is how I normally do it.
Okay.
Usually I let my friends pick the person, but sometimes my friends have bad taste, so you have to really be looking out for your friend's best interest, and sometimes you have to pick the person.
Okay.
Depending on just how much they've drank or anything. Like, their taste could go out the window.
Yeah.
So you want to be mindful of that. And then I think my go-to move is to just, like, befriend the girl. To just, like, be like, oh my gosh, like, your outfit is so cute. And then within minutes, like, because, you know, you're complimenting someone. And like we said, people observe you when you walk in. So, you know, everyone's feeling maybe a little bit insecure to get the compliment from another girl. Which, to me, guy compliments don't mean anything. Not that they don't mean anything, but guys will compliment anyone.
Oh, okay.
They're very low-hanging fruit. So yeah, you just compliment her. Or I always used to do, like, this is like a famous one I used to do in undergrad. Like, oh my gosh, have you met my friend?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, it's his birthday.
Yeah. And,
like, that's it. Like, because then everybody wants to dance with the birthday boy. Everybody wants to hang out with them or whatever it is. So yeah, you become friends with them first, and then you know, you're like, oh, do you guys want to, like, hang out with us? Like, da-da-da. Like, here, meet my friends. And everyone's always very open to meeting people and, like, talking to new people. And then after that, though, I can't do anything. That is, like, all I can do is, like, I can initiate.
Yeah.
But then it's all on the friend to take it away.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Like, I can't spoon feed. I can't, like, package someone up and give them to you. Like, here you go. I got them for you.
So that's a little misleading. Okay, so I have 2 questions. I'll start off with the easy one. So
sure.
When you've, like, set people up at the club, is it, like, just guy friends or is it also girls, too?
It has... I tend to have a lot more guy friends that are shy. Like, my girlfriends are all pretty confident.
Yeah.
So I've never set up. Oh no, I have set up girlfriends. It's very similar actually.
Okay.
Instead of going over and complimenting them though, when I'm setting up a guy like a girlfriend, you just go, and it's not just at the club, Ethan. It's also like, you know, when you're out and about in just life. Like let's say you're at a soccer game, at like a whatever, wherever people meet people.
Okay.
I'll just be like, you have to start. So because your friend likes them, you have to be the one to like sort of break the ice with them and like just like initiate some reason for them to come over and be in a conversation with my friend.
Right.
And then like I have to trust that she's got it after that.
So, okay, so the misleading part is that like, so over the weekend, you said you would find our friend a wife.
I guaranteed it.
But the weekend before, you said you would find me a wife.
Yes, but I do want to say about the weekend before, nobody told me who they were interested in. We were just like blindly walking around.
That's true.
So it was very much just like a friend's night.
So I guess
I had no content.
What I don't understand is like how you go from initiating, or you're saying you can find someone a wife.
Yes.
But all you're really doing is you're initiating a conversation.
True, but okay.
So how does that like?
How does
that's not
a conversation turn into a wife?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can, if I'm the reason you guys like started talking, like I can be there to help along the way. I think this has maybe happened like once in my life where like something actually came of an introduction that I made. But like I said, a lot of it has to do with the other person too. Like as a wing woman or a wingman, I think your job is to just hype up your friend, make them seem like cool, like they're the man or the woman, and then just like get them the introduction, get them the space to show the other person like, hey, I am the man or I am the woman, you know?
Yeah. So I think like those are like all like really solid things that you bring up. And I think the reason why it's really helpful to have a wingman or a wingwoman is because they're the ones who are going to start the conversation. Yeah. And for them, it's much easier for them than for you. Stake. Yeah, because they don't like the other person like that. Or maybe they're in a relationship already. And so it's easier for them to like make that cold approach.
Yeah. Wait, have you ever been a wingman to a guy or a girl?
Accidentally.
Accidentally?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what does that mean?
That means...
It sounds kind of sad. I've done it accidentally once too, but...
And I've also accidentally broken things up.
That one doesn't sound so or sad.
Okay, like... but that was like when I was younger, and I learned from that. Okay. And so, okay, so that's why it's like helpful to have like a wingman or a wingwoman. But I actually think like when you are being a wingwoman or a wingman, when you start the conversation, I think it's helpful not to just leave right away. So, like, you can compliment them, right?
By the way, I don't leave right away.
And I think, like, one of the key things is to, like, find some kind of similarity. Yeah. And then, that's kind of when you can step away because you've given them that, like, initial connection. Okay. Yeah. And so, I guess I'll open it up to you, but are there, like, initial questions that are, like, really good to, like, figure out if there's, like, even any similarities?
I feel like the typical ones is like first is like age. Like no, not like you don't outright ask somebody their age, but it's like, oh, like da da da, like, oh, are you working? Are you in school? Like, what are you up to? Yeah. And then just talking about the place, because obviously both of these people chose to be at this place. Yeah. You know, individually. Yeah. So it's like, oh, what do you like about it here? Like, do you come here a lot? Like, whatever. And then I feel like usually there's usually something in the environment that is enough for them to start talking. Like in my undergrad when I used to do this, because I was in a really small town. Yeah. So it's normally like, oh, what school did you go to? And then it's either this school or this school. And they're rivals. So either you can talk about being at the same school or you can like argue, which is fine too.
Right. So I think those are good. And I think the key is instead of like trying to ask them a question out of the blue, you're trying to like pull at like what is low-hanging fruit and what is easy. So like maybe things about their outfit, like, oh, where do you get that jacket from? Or where are you guys from? And like and like how do you, like, if they're in a group of friends, like, oh, how do you guys all know each other? So those are things where that's just like things that you can observe that's in front of you. I think that's the best way to initiate, as opposed to, oh, what do you do? Or what do you do for fun?
Okay, also in the case of our friend this weekend, the one that our friend chose, so she was actually there with, it was her, another girl, and 2 guys. So when I went over and I had my water, I needed to go to the bathroom regardless, so it wasn't like fake, it was real. But I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I just tapped her because I was trying to make her feel like, oh, I trust you. I was like, girl, do you mind like just like watching my water and making sure like it's all good? I just need to run to the restroom. And they were right by the restroom. And she's like, yeah, blah, blah. And one of her friends was like making comments towards me. And he was like, oh, like, I'll watch your water. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, aren't you guys all together? Like, aren't you guys all coupled up?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized they were not all coupled up. Only 2 of them were, and our girl was single. So that's another important thing to figure out, if your mark is actually available.
Yeah, that was really smooth of you. So, like, that's, wow, I would have never thought about doing something like that.
Yeah.
But then what are other ways to, like, because that's always the first thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe we skipped that, but you should, the first step is actually to find out if
they're available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you do that?
In general, like in other situations, like not like this one? Well, sometimes I'm going to be honest with you guys, like it has backfired on me. And sometimes like the girl like that I'm being friends with and we're dancing and they're dancing with my friend. So like I'm getting to, you know, a good point. And then they'll just like, if my friend is making a move, they'll be like, oh, like I actually have a boyfriend. And then, so sometimes it's hard to know. That's kind of like a hard filter, I feel like.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could ask like, oh, are you here with anyone? Like, is it a girls' night? Like, oh, like, and then you can just bring it about yourself. Like, even if you don't have a boyfriend, I'd be like, oh my gosh, my boyfriend gets so annoyed when I go out. Like, what about you?
Yeah.
Like, because people, I feel like complaining is something that everybody loves to do. And everybody loves it when people listen to their complaints.
True.
So it's like a really easy way to just like, yeah. So she could be like, oh, my ex used to like, whatever. And there's that, like, that one's kind of like a hard thing to fully figure out. But, and then after, I think you just figure out based on how she's behaving with your friend.
Yeah.
You know, like if after the introduction, if she's being very friendly back, like maybe she is single or she wants to be. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so in your situation, it's very rare for a guy to have a friend who's a girl to like help start the conversation. Like that almost never happens. And so I think that is a way better situation than like having another guy wingman.
I totally agree.
To be honest, I would not trust any guy to like wingman me. I would not. And so like I don't even know.
Like, do you think they won't get you results, or like why would you not trust it?
I think I'm more outgoing than them.
Oh, I see.
And then also I feel like a lot of the big thing that a lot of people miss when they're wingmanning is I think they don't advocate for their friend in a good way.
Okay.
So like I think the goal, or I think a lot of people want to just like overhype their friend and just like push like and then like even like lie about their friend. But I think you want it to like feel natural.
Yeah.
You want to hype them up and you want to compliment them. But the key is like establishing an initial connection, not like trying to like market a celebrity or something.
I will be honest, I have told little lies. Like I told you, like, oh, like this is my friend, like it's his birthday today, like you know, obviously it was not his birthday. Right, but like little stuff like that. But I've never lied about like, oh, what can he do? And like, oh my gosh, dude, he's like a millionaire. Like his Ferrari's parked at like no. Because like because I know girls and like I know that they're smart and I know they're gonna figure it out within minutes. Yeah. So there's like no point. That's just gonna work against all. It's gonna make me look bad. Forget about the friend. Yeah. Because at this point, like I said, the base thing about wingwomaning for me is to establish a relationship with that girl or that like guy. Like, and I don't want to make myself look bad either. So. But
the birthday thing is okay. Like I also think it's okay. Yeah. Like or like oh my gosh, like my friend just got out of a relationship, like and she thought you were cute, like, but she needs a little push, like, do you want to go talk to her if you're interested, like you know, anything, like little things. That was also really smooth. I really like that line. Wow, I'm gonna add that. And I think like those things, they're pretty harmless because like when you find out that they're not true, like you can laugh it off.
Yes,
but when you
exactly.
find out that they're not a millionaire, like that, you don't really laugh that off.
That's
You're just that's an ick now.
That is an ick now.
But then it's funny. It's kind of a cute story too.
Yeah.
Like if that's like how you met and you thought it was their birthday. Okay, so how can a guy get like a good wing woman? And do you think the reverse also applies? Like for a girl, it's better if a guy wingmans you?
So I've had like a guy kind of wingman for me like once in like undergrad. And like it kind of worked because like I was like, I think it works if you yourself are like in a position where you're just way too shy to approach this person.
Yeah.
So there was this guy, like I was like in love with him in undergrad, like obsessed. And I could not talk to him, but I knew he was going to be like at this like frat party that I was going to. And like I was just way too scared to like, I just like, you know, people kept whispering in my ears, oh my gosh, he just got here, like are you gonna do something? And so in that situation I knew one of my friends was already friends with him. And I was like, hey, like do you want to let him know like that I like do want to talk? In whatever way you need to do that. And then he did, and it helped because then the guy could come and talk to me because he knew, like it made it easier for him because he's not afraid of rejection. It made it easier for me. So I guess what was the question?
Okay, so I just want to mention two things, like, because you brought up some really good points. I think, in general, like, wing womaning, wing manning doesn't have to be when you guys all go out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you have a friend who is friends that you're friends with someone that you're interested in, I think it's good to like ask them if you could like help start a conversation between you two and introduce yourselves. Like you shouldn't be scared of that. And then I think the other thing is that when you are out with your friends and you want them to wingman you or wingwoman you, I think a bad thing that the wing woman or wingman can do is to put a lot of pressure on you and say like, oh, they're here now, do you want to talk to them? Or go talk to them, now's a good time, they're alone. I think that if you're ever in this position, you should avoid that because you want to keep things as low pressure as possible. And maybe that's why like I've done it by accident because the main goal is to make it like as natural as possible and not forced.
Yeah. And I feel like also as the person who's being wing woman for is like, you should ask if you like someone or if you want to go for something, and if you want your friend's help, just ask. Because a lot of times like, yes, I offered it to you last weekend. I offered to our other friend this past weekend, but like, it's very hard to just go off of an offer if the other person isn't open, you know? Like, sure, I could bring people that I think you'd be interested in, but if I don't know if you're even open to talking to them, again, I don't want to make myself look bad in front of that person either.
True.
So you should also be clear.
Yeah. And if you ask, like as a guy, if I mention like, oh, there's this girl that I'm interested in, hopefully like my other guy friends will back off. Yeah. And so like then like we don't like get into a messy situation. Okay, my initial question for you.
Can I just ask you?
Okay.
What if your friends don't back off? And this can be a separate episode because I think this at least for me, it's a very loaded topic. But what if you tell somebody, hey, I like this guy or girl. Yeah. And, you know, can you help me wingman for me with this person that I really like? And then what if, instead of doing that for you, they're selfish and they go for it?
So you need to, like, not be friends with them. that person is not good for you. Okay, so in that situation, there's only 3 people I think would meet the criteria to be my wingman or wingwoman. So they either have to be my really good friend and I trust them and I don't think that they'll do that to me.
What if they do?
If they do, that's okay because this is only one person. This is someone that I haven't known really well. So, but them showing their true colors like that is more worth it. So that I know like they're not like a good person for me. Okay, so I would ask someone that I really trust. I would ask someone who's already in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Or I would ask a girl who's straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay.
that's like, I wouldn't just trust anyone to wing, because like someone who doesn't know me so well, they probably like won't know my type
and they won't do a good
what
job.
I'm looking for.
Even if you pick out the girl, they won't do a good job because they don't know you.
Right.
Like, for example, if I'm wing womaning for you versus like one of our other friends, like let's say, I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to find the conversation I'm having with the girls going to be very different. I know your values, and I know that you're, looking to get their number and that you're looking to take them on dates. Yeah. And, you're looking for someone who likes to leave early because she has important things to do in the morning. Those are things that are important to you. So that is what, I'm going to try to find the girl that's like, oh, I usually don't go out. My friends drag me out. That is who I'll find for you. But for our other friend, I'm going to find the girl that's like...
I want to be in an open relationship.
No. I don't want to say like find someone who's like a bar star, like local. She knows everyone. She's there all the time. Like she's talking to she's talking to 3 different people just that night, and like my friend's just another option. Let's see if he can compete.
Yeah.
So the person also matters.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So that's why they do have to be close enough to you to know these things.
Okay. As a guy, probably like out of the 3 people that I just mentioned, the best person is a wing woman. Yeah. So how do I
find a wing woman?
Exactly. Like how does a guy find a wing woman?
I feel like I hate to say it, but I hope you've been nice to the ladies in your life and you've been able to have girlfriends. Because unless you have a really good girlfriend, like I said, a lot of wing womaning, sure, you're not interested in that person, so it's easier for you, but you're still putting yourself on the line. Yeah. Like whether a guy rejects me or a girl rejects me, like it's still rejection. It's still not great. Yeah. So I would not just do this for everyone. Yeah. I offered it to you and our other friend because I like you guys and I'm friends with you guys. So I would do it for you. Yeah. But like I wouldn't do it for everyone.
I would do it for you too. Thanks. We haven't touched on this podcast yet, but I think a very important thing in life is, well, speaking as a guy, I think it's important as a guy to not only have girls who are friends who like, and they became my friends because I was interested in them at some point, right? Yeah. Like, I think in general, it's really healthy for me to have friends who are girls. Maybe I'm not like the closest with them, but they're my friends and I have a good relationship with them, and like they can give me advice sometimes, and we can like kick it without like any like expectations. Okay. And so those are probably the girls that I want to be able to set me up. And I think there's a lot of guys who will only become friends with girls when they're interested in them. Yeah. And it's not always the case, but those girls who are your friends who you don't have interest with, they are the best advocates for you. Yeah, dude, they're like gold. If you can find a female friendship and maintain it in like a good, healthy way, like, because girls are just like, I think we talked about this in previous episodes where like girls are just such good friends to their other girlfriends, and they're not, I don't know, biased towards you, and they're not going to be a worse friend to you. Yeah. Like if I'll fight for this friend, I'll fight for this other friend equally as hard. And I'll understand you both equally as hard, and I'm going to be there for you both like the same amount. Yeah. And I'm sure guys are like that, but like we talked about, I think in other episodes, like females are just like being friends with a girl is just, you can be more emotional. You can like, it's just like kind of different. Yeah. So you should try to find your girlfriends. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know if I could say the same about like, I don't know. I don't think I've had that many guys wingman for me. Yeah, I don't think, because I think as a girl, it's also different. Like, you just don't, I feel like you just don't, not that you don't need it. Yeah. But it's like people are already coming up to you, so it's like rare if there's a case. Like, it's mostly if you really like someone, then you'll get your friend to help you out. Yeah. But yeah. Maybe this episode should be called Only Wing Women Should Exist. Okay, so 2 things for the guys out there. I think in order to develop these good friendships with girls, I think you need to do 2 things. I think you need to be a good listener. And so like when a girl is coming to you to like tell you something, ask for advice, you should not like try to just give advice and just it's so great listen. That you're saying this because before I offered my
services to Ethan as a wing woman. Like, just before that, I was, like, going through a very frantic time in life, and I was, like, calling Ethan when I was pretty unhinged and, like, saying some pretty dumb stuff. And he let me just talk, even though he had like he said, he's a busy schedule, and he gave me advice. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also our other friend, in, like, between Ethan's weekend and our other friend's weekend, during that week, there was, like, times where I just picked up the phone because I was just, like, freaked out about some stuff, and I called our other friend.
Oh, wow.
And he literally stayed on the phone with, like, I skipped my call with my dad that day just because we were on the phone for, like, 2.5 hours. Like, my dad was asleep.
Wow.
So he, like, also very much earned his services that I offered him. So, yeah, I completely agree with Ethan.
Yeah, so that's, like, how you build a good friendship, and I think, like, for girls, that's usually more like what they're looking for, and that's how they build trust with, especially with a guy. And then also, like, the second thing is, I think when you don't just try to make moves on like the girls that you're friends with, you also build trust with them.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
I think when, like, a girl will really advocate for a guy friend and really consider him as someone who's nice and someone that they can recommend, like, it's gonna be a guy who wasn't just, like, using them or like trying to, like, get something from them. And so I think that's a good thing to keep in mind, like, as a guy, to have friendships where you're not trying to get something from the girl. Okay. I do think guys can be good wingmen for other guys, though. And
as long as you're not doing what you said, like the fake marketing, like the over exaggeration, which sometimes it could be funny, but a lot of times it just works against you.
Yeah. Have you ever, like, been a wing woman and then the person you were talking to was more interested in you than your friend?
Yes.
And so, like,
and it's happened for both guy friends and girlfriends. Like, there's this time I remember distinctly, like, it was, like, very early in, like, the day. I think we were at, like, I'll call it, like, a dinner-y place. And it was, like, my friends were pretty bored, and I was the only girl. I was out with, like, 6 of my guy friends.
Wow.
Because this was undergrad. Like, I had just a lot of guy friends. Because engineering, I don't know. And and we get there, and I'm just, like, I'm kind of bored. Like, my friends are bored, and I'm like, all right, like, time to spice things up, and, like, just have a story to tell. And when my friends were, like, very, very, very single at that time, and there was this group of girls there. So I was, like, all confident, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to them for you guys. And I went up to them, and I was like, oh, like, da-da-da, it's my friend's birthday, because the birthday thing just worked, like, a week before. So I was like, let me do it one more time. And they were like, oh, really, it is? They're like, oh, blah, 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 like, something about, they asked a question about my friend. They're like, oh, but what about you? And I was just like, and then I went to my friends, and I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work.
So in that situation, like you had the best intentions. You weren't trying to, like... Yeah. So what do you do in that situation? Do you just end the conversation?
In this case, because I'm not into girls, it was very easy for me. I just ended the conversation. I was like, oh, okay, like, nice meeting you. Like, I'm going to go back to my friends, whatever, and end the conversation. I think in the case of, like, guys, because obviously people in the same friend group, a lot of them could have the same type. You know, it's like, maybe he's not number one on my list. Like, maybe you found him first and, you know, you picked him. But while I'm trying to wing woman for you, like, maybe, like, you know, I don't think he's the ugliest thing in the world. So if he goes for me, like, I just have, like, I don't want to say I'm, like, perfect, but I just have really good morals. Like, if I said I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for you. And, like, even if he's going for me, like, I'm not going to come back and tell you, like, oh, he wasn't interested or he was interested in me, because that's just going to make you feel like I said, girls are usually very insecure, and they'll be like, oh, like, why did he like you and not me, and da-da-da, and it's going to turn into a whole thing. Yeah. So a lot of times I'm just like, oh, he had a girlfriend, and, like, move on. But there are a lot of snakes out there that in that situation will go for the guy. And I think that that's, like, the worst thing you can do. If somebody trusted you enough to tell you that they like someone and put you in a position to, like, you know, because, like, by telling someone, hey, you're my wingman, it makes you feel way more comfortable. Yeah. So even if you could be potentially interested in this guy, you're going to be like, oh, I'm not even going there for me. I'm going there for my friend. So it, like, makes all your, like, nerves, like, calm down, kind of. And then to go there, use your position, knowing your friend's situation, and to use it to your advantage and to proceed with something. Like, I think that's one of the nastiest things you can do.
Yeah, definitely. But sometimes it's hard to tell their intention, right? Like, I think another side of this is that in this situation, there's like so many things out of your control.
Yeah.
And like maybe they had the best intentions, but maybe they just get along really well with that person.
And if that happens, like, then we go back to what we were saying a little bit ago, Ethan. When you make your very close friend go wingman for you, and then he hits it off with the girl.
Yeah.
And you said earlier that friend is very bad. He's showing his true colors.
Yeah.
But now we're saying, what if their connection is very good?
Yeah.
And I think it's totally possible because, like you said, if you're at a position where you're asking them to wingman for you, you're not that close to the other person to begin with. Like, maybe you have seen them at a couple of gatherings and you're kind of interested, but you're not that close.
Right.
So it's totally fair if your friend hits it off with them.
Yeah.
But I think the right and the only course of action for this situation is, you know, if you go and you realize, oh shoot, I was wingmanning for Ethan, but she's into me, is you do not act on it. You do not reciprocate. You do not flirt. You go to Ethan first because you were acting on Ethan's behalf. You tell Ethan, hey man, I know you're into her, but can we just have like a little talk? And don't say, oh, because she's into me, so I get her. You have a relationship with Ethan, not this girl.
Right.
So you have to say, I feel like I'm kind of starting to vibe with her.
Yeah.
How close are you guys? Like, are you guys very close, or how would you feel if I tried to proceed with this on my own?
Wow.
That is the only way to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then I think if I'm the guy who wanted to be like set up or helped, if I really liked a girl and I wanted there to like be no chance that like my friend gets in the way, then actually like the best thing I can do is to go up to the girl myself.
True.
And
very true.
So I think when you're in that situation, you have to make a game time like a play call, like like how well or what do I think my friend is gonna do in this situation? Like, I also don't want to put him in a tough spot because maybe we got to the restaurant, the baseball game at the same time, and like maybe he's also looking around for people. So,
totally.
I think that, like if you decided to have him or her, or no, him wingman you, like it's better if he like communicates if something happens. But then if you don't want that to like be the case, just you have to do it yourself.
I know, but for people out there that have made this mistake and gotten burned, sometimes you just really trust your friends.
Yeah.
But I guess time to put on your big boy pants and not take that risk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we'll probably like talk about this more, but I guess in this podcast, like one of the big themes is being a good communicator.
Yeah.
And also like being comfortable with asking for what you want.
Yeah.
And so we encourage you. We know not everyone is an extrovert or just able to like come up with good conversation. But even like the questions that Sania brought up that you could like use to start a conversation to wingman or wingwoman your friend, you can use to start a conversation yourself. So I know like it's very scary and like it's always gonna be toughest the first time.
Yeah.
But you can do it. Like people used to like meet their wives and their husbands that way. Yeah. And even now, like when you meet someone online or however people do it now, you always need some way to start the conversation. And so we want to equip you well, but also like give you some confidence.
Yeah.
Like go for it, and it's not the end of the world if things happen that you don't expect. It's as long as you're not rude, like it's you didn't do anything bad at all, and it doesn't affect who you are or your value. One last question that I had was, a good woman or wingman, do you think they have to be extroverted and like very like outgoing and good at conversation?
Okay, maybe this is not the answer people want to hear if they're not,
Yeah.
if they don't match that description, but I
Yeah.
think, yeah, you kind of do.
Yeah.
Just because when you go and do this, because you don't know the other person, like a lot of it is also about making them feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And extroverts are just naturally, I don't want to say naturally, but they're just good at making everyone around them feel comfortable. It's like
Yeah.
if you're shy and you go up to someone who might also be feeling shy at the moment because, a random person's coming up to them, it's really hard to like get over that barrier of shyness. But if you're like very chill, very relaxed, like, it calms the other person down.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it might not come down to like extroverted, introverted, but more so how good you are at creating conversation
Yeah.
and making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But I will say that maybe you are introverted, maybe you are less social, but you can still be a good wingwoman or wingman. I think those people are most effective when they're already friends with someone that you're interested
yeah.
in.
Oh, yeah.
And like those conversations can come up easier. And I'm just kind of putting this thought out there, but I actually think this is good if we could just advocate for our friends more in
Yeah.
normal conversation. So maybe like we're meeting someone new and they're like talking about a relationship that they just got over, or maybe they just moved here and they're looking for friends. And I think like as a good friend, like maybe I'll just like ask them a few more questions, like, like, are you ready to be in a relationship again? And like, what exactly are you looking for? And like, we can all help each other out a little bit that
Yeah.
way, and look out for our friends and just ask like those easy questions. And maybe there's some potential, maybe not, but
Honestly, Ethan, I don't know if you realize, but you were an unknowing wingman for me with Email Cheater.
no, I was knowing. I
You're so mean.
So
What do you mean you were knowing? I never expressed interest or asked for your services.
But that's how good I was. That Sania didn't even know. So what happened with Email Cheater was Sania and I met him at the same time.
Yeah.
And I forgot, maybe you talked to him first. I don't know. But so I talked to him.
No. I was too scared to go up to him. He was like that person. And I had pride. I was like, he's saying hi to everyone. Why is he not saying hi to me?
Yeah. Okay, so what happened that night was, so I was talking to him and I was like, oh, this guy, like, he's objectively attractive. And I was like, I saw that you guys weren't talking. And I was like, what if? and like, based on the last thing I just said, right? Like, I wanted to advocate for my friends. I knew that you were single. I didn't know that much about him.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think maybe Sania could be interested.
Yeah.
And so like that's when like I had to pull you in.
Yeah.
But you didn't even notice, right? It just felt so
felt very
natural. Like,
natural.
oh hey, like this is like my friend Sania.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even like me trying to like compliment you or compliment him. It was just like, let's have a conversation
Yeah.
together. And then when it's good, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna back off. So, so maybe like that's also like a good way to do it. You have to back off though.
Yeah.
But I like very knowing. I did it very
you said
knowingly.
it. Yeah, you did it at a good time where there was enough that we had in common to talk about. That even though you leave, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you said. I don't know if you went to go get a cookie or like a something. Like, but you backed off also.
Yeah.
Not in a super obvious way. Like, oh, I'm gonna let you guys talk. Like
Right.
it wasn't like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's very low stakes. It was very good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sorry it didn't work out.
And I'm also sorry to our friend. Although I wanted to set him up, I was the one that I walked out with like three people's Instagrams that night. Girls that I was trying to set him up with, but they're just like, oh my gosh, you're so fun. Like, can I have your Instagram? And I was like,
Nice.
But didn't go as planned.
Maybe they found this podcast now.
Yeah, hopefully, because that's the first thing people see on my Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. That's it for me.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. Let us know if you have any questions, if you have any comments. Definitely comment down below or DM us. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up we're bringing back our segment, red flag, green flag. And so we have some different situations, and then Sania and I, we're going to say what kind of flag we think each one is.
Okay.
Okay, so the very first one, having lots of friends of the opposite sex.
This one could go both ways.
Wait, you don't explain yet.
Okay.
You just have to pick one.
All right. How do we show it? Oh, thumbs up, middle, and thumbs down?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
let's do that. Okay.
I hope I don't regret my answer. Okay. 3,
You can change
2, 1, go. So I think because I'd be a hypocrite if I put that it's a red flag, because I have a lot of friends of the opposite gender,
Yeah.
like primarily.
This is right back to episode 1. What a throwback.
But I'm going to say green flag because Serial Dater had tons of very close friends that were girls.
Wow.
And when I looked at him, I was like, wait, so like, are you into your girlfriends? Because like, that's the only male-female friendships that I knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what? No. And I was like, so you don't like make out with them when you get drunk? And he's like, no, like we're just friends. And like actually his friends were really pretty. Like his girlfriends were very pretty.
Yeah.
But I don't know, he reassured me, and like that made me feel like, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad. And like, for example, when it was time for him to like buy me gifts, he could use them for like help to buy like nicer things and stuff like that. So I feel like it teaches you a lot about the other gender without me having to teach you everything. So that's why green flag.
Okay, if you put it that way,
Yeah.
I agree. But here's like my main question in that situation. How do you know those girlfriends weren't into him? He was into them, but
yeah, I have no idea. They could be.
yeah, and so it's kind of a two-way street. For me, I think if I see a girl who is very close with a lot of guys,
be careful what you say.
so it's like it goes two ways.
Yeah.
Either like she's very flirty and like really friendly with the guys,
Or with everyone. Yeah.
And like I didn't mean to go this way, but I'm gonna go this way. But I think when a girl has been mistreated by guys in the past, she will actually like maybe have I don't know if this is true, but you can correct me. She might have more guy friends because she's looking for people to protect her. And
I think I can agree with that.
And it's kind of like twisted in some way, but that's like maybe the underlying thing. And we can talk about this more another time. And so, okay, that's one possibility. The other possibility is like she's just a flirt. And so the guys that she's friends with, maybe she's totally like platonic.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like in those situations, most of the time the guy is into her.
Yeah.
Like even if she doesn't feel anything. And so that's also like not a great situation.
Yeah.
Because in that situation she should know that the guy is into her. And if she is not aware of that, that's a red flag. That part is a red flag for me. And then maybe like they're just friends and that part's not really red.
Like you don't see anything beneficial out of it. Like I said, for the guys having lots of girlfriends, I'm like, I could see benefit in the sense of like, oh, you know that you should be nicer to your girlfriends when it's that time of the month. You know that, like for example, if you haven't had sisters, you should, get them, like, maybe girls will complain to this guy. So like email or serial dater, sorry. This is like a very consistent theme with him. His girlfriends would call him and complain about other guys. Oh, this one didn't text me, and like, oh my gosh, it's New Year's, like, and he's not making plans with me. And so it put light bulbs in his head, like, oh, I should probably make plans. Yeah. It didn't work on Valentine's Day, but it worked whenever the girls were giving him stuff to work with. So I think I'm very against it, but I think because I saw in him how it could be done in a very healthy way, I feel like I'm like trying to see more like the positive side of it.
So I totally think there are benefits. There definitely are. Yeah. But I think for me, maybe I'll say it this way. If her closest friends are guys, that's just automatic red flag.
Really?
If her closest friends are girls and she still has like guy friends that she's not as close with that have that role, then
What if
I'm fine with that, but
if I look at my friends, I think the longest friendships and the closest ones have been guys.
Yeah, and they're probably into you, man.
Well, like there's been like girls that have come in, but there's not been like there's been maybe like a handful of girls that have been there all along, but it's very hard because like girls, like, you know, they'll get busy, they get in relationships. My friend just had a baby, but like my guy friends are still single. They're just out in these streets, so they're just always available, always there for me. But I get what you're saying. But you know what, Ethan? Guys taught me, my guy friends taught me.
Yeah.
You know, for example, when you're closing a car door, you can't slam it. Sometimes I used to slam it, but unintentionally.
Yeah.
And I got yelled at by my guy friends a lot about it. And now, like, that's something, like, for my next boyfriend, like, I'm good to go. I'm not going to slam the car door ever. I'm so mindful of it. It's like, there's stuff you can learn.
Yeah, but if they're your closest friends, I'm just a little skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like of you, but of them, right? And like what that dynamic is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Next one.
Disagree.
Well, somehow, well, what a spicy topic. Friends and relationships.
Oh, no.
We'll never run out of things to say. Okay. Next one. They like to smoke. 420 friendly.
Oh, smoke weed?
Well, smoke weed, smoke cigarettes. I don't know. Like, you can specify.
Okay. Okay, I'll give an answer, but...
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay, mine's this, but it could also be this.
Okay.
So mine's like...
What?
Okay, because...
Do you want to give a yellow flag?
Yeah, like, can we do yellow? Because...
Yeah.
So... It's bad. Long term, I don't want to be with somebody that, like, doesn't take care of their health and would, like, put that stuff in their body. But also, like, lately, I think I've been around a lot of people that have been smoking, like, cigarettes. And I'm kind of, like, into the smell weirdly. Not into the smell, like, you're smoking in my face. But, like, say you just smoked and I sit in your car, like, and it smells kind of smoky. Maybe just get a candle. Actually, it's a red flag. Just get a candle. Just get a perfume.
Like
Zara has lots of like tobacco smelling perfumes. Yeah. Actually, yes, red flag.
Yeah, I was like listening to you and I was like, are you hearing what you're saying right now?
Actually, yeah.
And I think just to build off you, I completely agree. I want them to like be healthy and like. But then I think the other thing is that these things are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're like investing money in it. Maybe not like all the time, but they still are. Like it becomes a cost. And it also depends, like there are varying levels, but it can easily like become a crutch for someone. They just need like a quick hit. They need to get high. And I don't want the other person to have to rely on that. So that's why.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the last one.
Actually, I'm going to add a bonus one in.
Oh, okay. You want to do it at the end or
no?
Okay. So next one, they're vegan.
Okay. All right. Also kind of lots of thoughts on this one, but...
All right.
Sure. Ready?
3, 2, 1. Okay, so I said yellow, Sania said red.
Mine's red. It's not like a red flag, like something alarming that I'm running away from, but just like it is just a very inconvenience. Like if you're vegan, you're gonna make me feel guilty for eating meat and for having like cheese or eggs.
But there are plenty of vegans who don't impose that on.
I guess, but like just by being around you, I'm gonna feel guilty, like knowing that you're not making that decision.
Okay.
And then also like just future compatibility again, just like the smoking thing, like I know I'm gonna cook meat like and I plan to eat, and I do feel very bad for the animals. It's not that. And sometimes I become like a selective animal vegan. Like I won't eat certain animals because I just feel really bad. Like a friend of mine was telling me the other day, like lamb for example, or goat, it only tastes good when it's like younger because the meat's tenderer, and that just like effed me up, and like I don't eat those. But yeah.
I think for me, like it would only be a red flag if they like impose their views on me.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like I would be open to like having it, or like having it part of my lifestyle, but not like all the time.
Okay.
And like that is a lifestyle choice that they made.
Right.
And it's like someone who made a choice to make their sheets every morning. That's
Right.
just like
Okay.
how they do their thing. And it may or may not affect me. Like I only think it's a red flag if they like make me do my sheets, right?
Okay. Okay.
But overall, I don't think it's like a bad thing. They're usually like they have good intentions and they're trying to do a good thing.
Okay. All right, and now the bonus round.
Oh man,
Red flag or green flag if somebody says they're going to do something and then they don't do it.
This is not a dig, right?
So I'll give a little bit more context. Because this happened to one of my friends too. Somebody said that they were going to. This is gonna be very specific. It is a dig.
Okay.
Ethan was going to bring something for us to wear so we could match today. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's worse if you forgot. The red flag is getting redder.
What?
Do you remember what you were gonna bring?
For us to wear to match?
Albuquerque? What is the fish called?
Oh! Yeah.
So red flag or green flag when people promise somebody something and then they don't do it. You know this happened to our friend, our good friend. You're gonna have to bleep it out. Kept promising her jersey and like he just kept not bringing it.
Wow.
Not that I want it, but it just you said you were gonna do something. So
Yeah.
red flag or green flag. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Yay.
What?
Well, we love someone who takes accountability and who takes responsibility. So.
Maybe I'm a walking red flag, you know. That's crazy. I totally forgot.
Yeah. Honestly, it's fine. I forget a lot of stuff too. It's not going to hold it against you, but it just felt like good timing to slip it in there.
Well, now we end the episode, and I have to continue my day feeling like an asshole.
No. It's okay. I wouldn't have worn it anyways.
Even for the podcast?
Well, the Celtics won. Didn't you hear?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I did hear.
Okay.
But, like, no one knows the timing of these things, you know?
It's true.
Oh, man. Okay. I mean, if you're down, I can try to remember for
Well, I
next
just
time.
don't know if I would want to even do it anymore.
Wow, that's kind of messed up. That means you do hold it against me.
We'll circle back to this conversation.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is like a normal thing. So, like, I do this stuff all the time. So,
Yeah.
I feel bad.
No, you shouldn't. By the way, I'm kidding. It got more serious than it was. I just
No,
thought
it's
of it
all
while
good.
we were filming, and I was like, "Oh, this would be great."
The way you said it, I was like, oh, like, this is, it has something to do with this. But I didn't even know what.
You're very good at reading people. That's all I can say.